I think that if we have other ways to go about getting the child to do what we want them to do, corporal punishment is not an option. Okay? Yes, that's what I think, that if we go about discipline, discipline actually means to teach and reteach and reteach. So if a parent has mastered the skill of discipline, the corporal punishment is like stress, so to say. Okay, but some parents think that it's shortcut. It's actually not a shortcut, because you are affecting the psychology of that child. All right, so it might get to a point where you have to. Okay, you want to say something?
Yes, looking at the Nigerian situation, the Nigerian factor, we know there's the power situation where, there's no power for hours, and a lot of houses are thrown in the dark. There's the issue of network. Of course, you just experienced the network issue on the Zoom, via the Zoom call. But let's look at all of these factors. The fact that there is the Nigerian system, which is not balanced when it comes to getting perfect, economy, power. A lot of homes still, run on gens and all of that. How expensive is homeschooling in terms of getting all of these factors in place? Or how affordable?
Homeschooling is more affordable than the conventional school. Yeah. Some parents can even go into it just because they want to cut down costs. But if they go into it and do not know what they are doing, then it's not right for the child. But homeschooling is cheaper. It's less expensive than the traditional school.
But do those factors come into play? Technology, power, and all of that?
Not majorly, because most of the activities we do are hands-on activities.
Okay.
If, for example, we have today living things, if our topic is living things, we know that we are taking a walk outside to go and check out non-living things and living things. And my son loves that a lot. So we have varieties on our learning approaches. The only time we have need for the TV is when I have a particular topic I need to play a video on. And then we need it. If there's no power.
All right. So we were talking about how the Nigerian factor comes into play, but you said it doesn't come into play at all when it comes to homeschooling. But let's also talk about these children, how they mix, or how they eventually get to evolve or go into the outside world after, this 5 years. How easy is it for them?
It's quite easy. I have I'll speak for myself. I have a children's club, by the way.
Okay.
Children's club. And those meetings.
All right, Salome would join us again. But she was talking about a club that she has. Perhaps that's where the children get to mix and get,
Because it's one thing to, homeschool a child, and the child is, smart, intellectual, and all. It's another thing for that social distance to be there. You find kids that withdraw, others are playing that, active, and the child is there not because the child is sick, but the child is just probably not used to exactly. So and when a child is growing, you want a robust development on all fronts. That there has to be a balance. So as much as the intellectual academic aspect is important, so also the social aspect. I think she's back.
Salome.
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, we're talking about your
club.
Yes, I have a club, Bible Manners and Worship Children's Club, and I pay specific attention to how my child relates with other children.
Okay,
it's actually fantastic that his social behavior is quite high for a child that is homeschooled. There is a probability that homeschooled children are withdrawn, but the wisdom for parents who are involved in homeschooling is to expose their children to activities and to environments where their children get to mix up with others on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So you know what you're in for, you know the pros and the cons, so that you are better advised on how to go about it.
Okay, talk to us about some of the tools you use in this homeschooling.
Okay. Aside it depends on the particular topic. So in a particular season, we could be using videos created by other content creators.
Okay.
In another season, we could be can go out to see nature that might be a tool for us. But there's a particular tool that I use for my children. It's a new product from me, an educational product for children. It's called the Foundational Skill Set for Kids.
Okay.
Foundational skill set for kids. On it is inscribed, your brain can grow. This is a deliberate statement from me to children, saying that whatever they feed their neurons is what they get. There's a lot of explanation in the manual, and so I'll just take you through the contents of it. It's quite colorful for children so that it attracts them. This is a toolkit. This is a game board. This is a game board.
Looks like the Scrabble. Salome. Okay. Well, it's very colorful.
Quite impressive as well, because my question, to her, even before you asked the tools, was that how does she create that school environment, that learning atmosphere? Because again, we've talked about.
She said she has a corner in the house.
It's one thing to have a corner. I mean, sometimes in schools you have what they call naughty children's corner. When a child misbehaves, go and stand there for maybe 5 minutes. So it's one thing to have a corner, but when you have, I'm just looking at the home as that learning environment. How she creates that conducive environment that the kid can learn and understand that, though I'm home, I'm still in school in that sense. Salome,
yes,
are you there?
I have something to say as regards that. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes. We can. You have the floor.
What do you call a learning environment?
Well, traditionally,
is it the desk and the chair approach?
Not really. Conventionally, you have various learning tags on the walls pegged and all of that. So I really wanted to ask how you try to create that as well at home. I know you talked about having the school corner, but are there also those learning tags?
Apart from the school corner, which is in our dining session, close to the dining session is the school corner, but their room particularly has decorations on the wall, and it's quite instructive because these decorations are tied towards what they're learning. The days of the week in English and in French, the letters of the alphabet, numbers and Roman numerals. We have a musical notes from brief, semi-brief, crochet, and all of that. So they are on their wall, very colorful. Actually, my last son, he's 2 years plus. When he wakes up, that's the first thing he does. He just starts, letter A sounds A, letter B sounds B. Nobody even knows that he's up yet, but he's there already learning.
Wow,
that's learning environment.
That's great.
In the kitchen, we have our learning moments. When I'm doing something in the kitchen, if a particular topic is addition, I can tell him to go and count those onions there, add them to those. What do you have? That's teaching.
That's great.
That's the learning environment. So apart from the sitting down with the desk and the chair, other moments around the house are teachable moments. Let's take that traditional method of I have to sit down straight up and say that this is the only time that I can learn. Research has shown that it is through play that children learn most. So if you can find activities that get children to play, it helps them learn. Are we together? Am I on?
Yes, so do they also learn poems and songs and rhymes like we did back then?
Yes. Oh yes, we do. That's phonemic awareness. And a child that has a high phonemic awareness is a great reader. You're setting the child up for success. So we have rhymes. Actually, we have songs that start the day when it's time, when they've had their bath and they're ready for school. There's a song we use to start the day, and then we move on to our Bible sessions. Now, that's something that I'm very particular about that I cannot get with the traditional homeschool. My child is 5. He just clocked 5, and he knows more than 10 different chapters of the Bible. You can tell him to recite Psalm 23. He'll recite it from the beginning to the end. Tell him to recite Psalm 121, Psalm 127, Ecclesiastes 3. He can just stay and read out the scriptures for you. That's it's a basic part of my homeschooling I don't take for granted, because I know what I'm using that to deck him with wisdom. I won't get that in a traditional homeschool.
So tell us how the board, how it works.
Okay. Thank you very much for redirecting me to this.
Okay, yes, we can see the board being displayed, but we've lost audio connection with Salome. But it's interesting, the fact that it's colorful great. And, you know, Scrabble is one game I love so much.
I mean, I was privileged to, you know, learn Scrabble at 8.
Oh, she's back.
Yes, and then, did I go up?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
So you might want to do a recap.
All right. I said these parts are for forming short words. 2-letter words, 3-letter words, 4-letter words. This part's for financial literacy. We have the kings of the money market. And then this part is used for different games as well. So we have different, these are the tiles. These, I don't know if you can see this clearly.
Yes, we can.
Yes, these are the tiles. They place these on the square boxes of the game. There is not enough space here for me to do that. I could send in pictures later, but this is it. If a child wants to form a particular letter, so he just goes and puts these together on the board. All right, so we use this as a teaching aid for children, for parents. Teaching aid for parents, teaching aid for teachers. But for children, it's a learning and fun tool. So if we have capital letters, small letters, we have Roman numerals, we have numbers, we have colors and shapes. But the main catch is the graphemes. The graphemes are the combination of letters that form sounds, and phonics works by sound. So the main catch is the phonics part that helps children to learn to read, to make learning to read fun.
I see some combination of letters like the double E, the AI, and all of that. What do they mean?
Yeah.
Sounds.
They are graphemes. Like AR is a grapheme for the sound R.
Okay.
Yes, and this is a single grapheme. W. Letter W sounds W. So we have letter F sounds, and these are the foundational skills that children need. In a traditional school, I have compared my son with others. He's doing much better than others that go to traditional schools. I'm not bringing down the importance of traditional school. I'm just saying that if a parent has the time and knows what they're doing, they are better advantaged than children that do well.
So how do you assess him? Do you have tests, examinations? How does it take them seriously?
Now, I do not have a particular day and I say this today is a day of exam and a day of test. I test him every day. Okay. As soon as we're done with the topic, I test him in different in different ways. Thank you. So another evil.
She has included sound in it.
Sounds,
I did not know sound until I went to school and I had to study, you know, phonetics and
we were taught A, B, C, D, E, F,
exactly.
E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Unlike this generation, they are
very
taught
tender age that
the sounds,
but the pronunciations. I saw diphthongs there. You know, it's quite impressive, and you can see that from the game. The child was able to form day in terms of the transcription. So it's quite impressive. I think that game itself is also something that those who are involved in homeschooling should incorporate into their learning, because it will help the child not just learn words, but it will also learn the child in terms of help the child in terms of pronunciation. And I think that's a very good way to help a child or train a
Salome,
child.
are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please go ahead. Yes. All
right. So I was saying that one of the disadvantages of the traditional schooling system is the teaching to test. Teaching to test. You don't teach for understanding. You teach to test. So when it's time for tests and the child doesn't perform according to the test, you rate the child low. Meanwhile, education is not supposed to be like that. If you go to countries like Finland that is really high in education, you would see that they do not teach to test, especially for the first 5 years. Expose the child to different activities, trigger his interest, discover him. What is he good at? What is he inclined to? What does he love? A child that has been deprived the opportunity to play, a child that has been deprived the opportunity to express himself in different activities will be put to test. And those other areas would not be developed.
All right.
I have several examples. A child that was considered olodo because she couldn't cram like other children in the school. I told the parents, leave me with her. Just give us some time every week. I didn't take any, I didn't even charge. I just wanted to help the child because I saw how withdrawn she was anytime it came to reading or spelling, dictation. Her younger brother was far better. Her younger brother could spell and do other things, but she couldn't. And anytime it came to things like that, she withdrew. So I took time out with her every week. I was giving her at least 30 minutes or 1 hour of my time. I found out that she could draw. She was so good at drawing. She was so good at telling stories. So I told her, your stories are going to go all over the world, but you need to know how to read. And I can make it fun for you. And we had to start with letter A sounds R. She was 7.
Okay, so from the sound of it, you homeschool other children too. So it's not just about your own children, but how far can a parent go in homeschooling other children?
Well, it's not like I homeschool other children. I help parents with information, relevant information and resources. For this child, I had to visit the family when she was back from school. So yes, it's related, but I just help out when I see the dividends, the benefits that homeschooling gives. Okay, so there's a lot more that we can. Please go ahead.
So it's not as if parents should also, bring in other children to homeschool them with their own children.
It depends on the parents. Okay. Depends on what you want to achieve. It depends on what's on your mind. Okay, for me, I want to raise my children to a point where I say, oh, I have laid the foundation for them. If I can, I would like to homeschool till secondary school. But that's not the plan. That's not the plan for now. My husband has not permitted that yet. But if I can, I would love to homeschool because I've seen the benefit. I've seen children that were homeschooled till secondary school. They always come out better than those that go to the traditional school.
All right. Thank you so much, Salome Olajide Buhari. That's a fine place to live it. Thank you for your time on iBrand Daybreak.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
It was good being here.
Have a great day. Okay, we've been speaking with Salome Olajide Buhari. She is a children's educator and soft skill coach, talking to us about the importance of homeschooling from the ages within the first 5 years.